Hello, I'm Susan French, City Arborist for Virginia Beach. Today we're going to be talking about planting a tree and the right way to do it. Number one, select a good site and pick the right species for the site. Having exactly the right tree that can be suitable in that environment will be a huge asset. Whenever possible, we want to select trees that are native to a site. Today we're planting a bald cypress tree, a beautiful bald cypress tree, and bald cypress, fortunately, love water sites and wet areas, so this is the perfect site for this tree. If you are looking into planting a tree and you're not sure which trees would be appropriate for species, you may want to contact your local cooperative extension office. One other thing we need to avoid is planting under power lines. That's more and more, that's a risk factor for trees, particularly in our area. So definitely steer clear of the power lines. And also before you plant, call Miss Utility. And Miss Utility is 811. Be sure you can dig safely there and that there are no obstacles underground. The third point is that when you plant the tree, you have to be very careful, and it's good if you have a larger tree to have some assistance. Today Jeff is going to be showing us the best planting hole and how to create it, and Jeff is going to be demonstrating planting techniques.
Now that we've selected the appropriate tree for the right location, now we need to determine how to dig our hole, how deep we want our hole to be. And to do that, the first thing we need to do is to figure out where the root flare is on the tree. If you look at trees growing out in the woods, you'll notice that the trunk comes down and flares out at ground level. They don't go straight into the ground like a phone pole. And we want that root flare to be planted just at or slightly above the surrounding grade. If you don't do that, you can end up having girdling roots that will choke the tree, or else you can have disease and insect issues that will develop. So what we do is you come down to your container and you want to pull the soil back away until you find the root flare. Luckily this one's close to the top. We have the roots right here. It was only about 1 or 2 inches deep. So in order to figure out how deep we want our hole to be, you can either use a measuring tape, or I just use the shovel, and you just hold it like this. And this root flare is actually below the top of the pot. It's around here. So what I'll do is I'll just hold the shovel like this. And then we've already dug our hole, but as you're digging, what you want to do is periodically check and make sure that you have the right depth. And we do. And the next thing you want to do, keep in mind when you're digging your hole, is you want to dig it twice as wide as the width of the root ball in the container. That gives you soil to work with to backfill. It also softens up the soil so that the tree is more likely to root into the surrounding area. After you've dug your hole, you want to take a shovel or a cultivator or some sort of tool, and you want to kind of scratch the edges of the hole in case there's any glazing. If you have high clay soil, when you dig your hole, it'll make a smooth surface, and then the tree roots can't get through that, so you want to break that layer. And then when you do that, that way the tree roots can grow out into the surrounding soil and establish more quickly. Next, Brian's going to talk about how to plant the tree and how to prepare it for planting.
Next, we're going to talk about fraying the root ball. The purpose of fraying a root ball is to prevent the root ball from getting girdled up by the roots. Once the root ball gets girdled by the roots, it'll start stressing the tree, and the tree can eventually die. So what you want to do is take something like a screwdriver, a trowel, or even a pair of pruners and dig into the root ball and pull the roots out as best you can. Because when you plant them, you're going to fray them out even more into the next soil so that they will adapt and grow into the surrounding soil. Next, we're going to backfill the soil around the root ball. Once the root ball has been placed into the hole, you'll take all the soil and place it around the root ball. You will want to tamp the root ball gently into the hole with like a back of a shovel or something like that. What you don't want to do is take your foot and step on the soil, because that'll compact it too hard. When you water the tree, it will it'll force out all of the air bubbles and everything, and it'll force the soil to settle naturally. Next, we want to mulch the tree. You want to take 3 inches of mulch and gently place it around the tree. You don't want to touch the trunk of the tree because it can cause rot into the trunk, but no more than 3 inches, because any more than 3 inches of soil will suffocate the tree and eventually cause it to die. Finally, you want to water the tree in. You want to take large amounts of water and water the tree in so that it forces the air bubbles out. When you water the tree from here on out, you want to do it infrequently, but with large amounts of water. Infrequent but large amounts of water will cause the roots to grow deeper into the soil.